Welcome to Let's Talk About You Season 5. Sunday Blessings. Welcome. Come on in. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're here. We're back. We're live. Oh, geez. Happy Sunday. It is always truly an honor and a privilege to be here. And I am back. Where have I been? I've been here minutes. I have been working behind the scenes to get so many other things done. I have been working still on the move since I moved. You just slow and steady, slow and steady, slow and steady. And we're here. I can't believe it's been 5 seasons. And I'm so glad that you guys have been sticking here with me. And let's talk about you. And I'm enjoying doing our Let's Talk minutes. You know, I truly, when we started doing the Let's Talk minute, it was to keep our audience engaged. And the feedback that we've been getting, it was just supposed to be a short time, but I've been getting so much positive feedback. I had to keep it going. I had to keep it going because it's just a nugget for a minute, sometimes less, sometimes a little bit more, but it's always something that I can share and someone can relate to. So we've been doing that, and I truly enjoy doing Let's Talk About You, Let's Talk Minute. So, season 5, I'm still in awe, but I am forever grateful. And that is what we've been up to. And when we started doing the Let's Talk minutes, that's one of the reasons why, I've become a little nostalgic trying to get things done and, thinking back of where I started. And I can't believe this started because we were confined. We had no place to go. So we decided to sit in, and I like to talk. So, what better way to engage with people during confinement by having Let's Talk About You, reflecting on things, planning where you want to go, where I wanted to see myself. And we're here. We're here. And there's no going back now. But this year and this season, I am blessed and honored to have true sponsors. And Let's Talk About You is being brought to you by Kiki Creations. Kiki Creations is an event planning business by me. We decorate, we create the ambience that our guests, our customer, our clientele may want, taking them outside the box. If you just want to rent linen, we do that too. Or just supplies. We may have exactly what it is that you need. And also by Infinitely Me, a couple shows or so, you always see me wearing these beautiful, beautiful pieces created by none other than Kirsten Brunn. And she is just a phenomenal, talented person. And she has said yes to being a part of Let's Talk About You. And I'm so honored and privileged that she said yes. So, without further ado, let's get into our VI History Month and Happy Women's History Month. We're here, we're ready to get started. Nostalgia. That is our topic for today. And being the month of March, our VI History Month, I decided, why not talk about my history? I'm a Virgin Islander, and it's no taking away from our great historian, those persons that have been impacting our Virgin Islands in such great ways. But each Virgin Islander individually, the little that you do, you're making your own history and impacting your life and doing things your way. So you too are a part of Virgin Islands history. So I want to share a part of my history with you, me growing up. Reflect with me, take this little journey with me, and see what I did a couple weeks ago. Take a look. Cathedral School where I went, and I decided to come and visit my childhood home
where I grew up because I was feeling nostalgic. And I know March being, well, our upcoming March being VI History Month, that was my history. That meant a lot to me. So why not start it off with something that meant a lot for me historically? So I decided to come visit where I grew up, where my brothers and sisters were, where we played, our cousins, people in the neighborhood, where we got to pick our own branch. You know what that meant, right? This was our landlord's house. Miss Hay was our landlord. No, Miss Western was our landlord. Miss Hay lived down the hill. Miss Western and Risa Richards, her grandmother, was my landlord. And this is downstairs of where we lived. We lived in an upstairs and downstairs. And growing up, this seemed so big because we would play here, we would walk across here, and all of here was flat. It was flat. And the clothesline was in this area where we would have to wash and hang out our clothes. I mean, I remember walking up these steps. I don't want to go all the way up because I don't know how sturdy it is, but this is where my brothers were. Downstairs were where the boys were, upstairs were where the girls were, along with our parents. This mango tree is where we climbed and enjoyed so many sweet, sweet kidney mangoes, and we had a sugar apple tree here. Oh, this kinnip tree, two of them. The boys would climb this one, the girls would mainly climb that one. But our favorite place to play was in the gut. Ooh, I loved the gut. We loved the gut. It was our favorite place in the whole wide world to play. And I loved it. We would play ball, we would have picnics, all of that stuff right here. And we would climb under there and go on the other end. It would be the other end of the gut that we would, after we climbed through that little hole, we would climb all the way down through there and go all the way down. Just because. Just because. Sweet memories. I remember playing ball in this gut. It was clear then, and it seemed so huge. We had so many great moments, so many adventures in this gut. It doesn't look like much now, but it was so much to me. Even when it rained and just watch the water flowing, it was beautiful to me. And that's why I love gut so much.
That was a part of my history. That's my VI history. And what I also did, I asked the listening audience, for those that tune into Let's Talk Minutes and saw all my posts, to share with me some of your childhood memories. And I'm going to read some because they truly meant to me. And our listening audience, trust me, you could put in anything that you think about that happened way back when and you didn't do it. You have the opportunity to do so now. If you grew up in Garden Street, because that's where I grew up, and you remember having great times in Garden Street, or G Street, we used to call it, please feel free to comment. Anyone, anywhere, we're open. This is a live show and I want to communicate with you. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and share some of the stories that I got, not only based on the gut, but just because people decided to take a look back and they shared a little bit of their VI history with me. Hazel Chavez, she said, a sweet VI childhood memory was buying 25-cent special. Do you guys remember specials? And from a lady named Miss Gillian. It was a beautiful lady that lived across the street from my late grandfather. She loved my older sister, Lisa. Lisa would run errands for her, and she would ask me if I was home, and I would say yes. And she would give me two specials for the price of one. Now, almost everyone could relate to buying specials. And could you imagine getting a special for 25 cents? Now they're popsicle sticks, and I'm sure they go from 250 and up. But there's nothing like a homemade special that you would go to the mom and pop shop to get some. I got another sharing from growing up in Garden Street with me from Sonia Chesterfield, and this truly made me laugh. It made me giggle, and I could relate. And I remember everything that she mentioned. She said, this very gut to me and my sister when we were laughing and cracking up. All the adventures that she and my sister and another childhood friend used this gut. They would walk down the hill near our area all the way while underground going to school in Savannah. Dion Gut and those natural springs after the heavy rain would literally be natural pools of water that would form and we would play. Lots and lots of stories to tell. She even mentioned, I'm too tired to type it all. Thanks, Sonia, because trust me, I remember those. And one of my one of her childhood memories was hanging out with me. And she said, at your house, and you were a baby cooking and cleaning. And she was like, what? You doing all of I mean, reading these stories truly had me laughing, had me cracking up at how all these things that happened right in those little area. One person also wrote, she didn't grow up in Garden Street, but she just was talking about things in general about growing up back in the day compared to growing up now. I got two of those stories. Take a listen. Nydia Lewis shared, it was funny to mention being outside playing in your gut. I was just telling a young boy the other day of their generation don't know anything about having fun. In our day, all the kids in the neighborhood knew each other. We're always outside in our streets. We played all day football, basketball, catching, throwing, riding skates, driving carts. Do you guys remember making those carts? We did whatever we did with no guidance from adults. I know that's another story for another time. We hardly went home to eat, but as soon as the street lights came on, it was home for everyone. It was so much fun, and the place that she played was right at Government Street by the Rocky Tar, and it was always fun for her. And I smiled at that because I was sharing some of those stories with my daughter and saying, you may not know about this, and she's like, Ma, it was a different age. People ain't doing that anymore. And it's true, but it was still fun. I also had a whole story get sent to me by one of my classmates and good friends, Tanika Bradwit. She said, as I mentioned, children growing up in this time of technology and quickness, it made me reminiscent of a childhood past growing up in St. Thomas in the 70s and 80s. It was a time of patience, family, creativity, adventure. Memories can keep us stuck in time. Memories can help us appreciate the time that has passed, or memories can be used as a foundation to build stronger things. While reflecting on those memories of my childhood, her childhood, she found herself in a state of melancholy, comparing the equality of childhoods past versus childhoods of today. Like everywhere else, childhoods evolve and they change, but as things change, certain core values should remain the same. As a child back then, Tanika remembered there were no cell phones to call or quick text messages or emojis to speak to our friends. We had rotary phones. You dial one number and you wait for it to always go around. And with no call waiting features. Because you had to pay extra for call waiting. At one point, there was no call waiting. And then when it happened, you had to pay Vitelco, which is now Via, extra for that. If a call came in and someone was on the phone, there would be a busy signal. I know we can relate to that. That prevented calls from coming through. And for whatever reason, parents forbade the children from tying up the lines because urgent calls may be coming in. Children talking on the phones were limited and non existent sometimes. Parents would tell their children to talk to their friends in the streets or when they got back to school. It was a norm for parents to send their children outside to play. Outside meant in the yard or in your friend's yard, never in the house. Parenthood was more of a community effort in those days, where we also tend to say it takes a village. In addition, computers were not a household staple that children monopolized or saturated themselves in, day and night in a stationary position, lacking adequate physical activities. She said, school assignments, you had to look it up and go and research it. Now, when she typed this, I truly had to laugh because I remember that there would be this man that would come selling encyclopedias, and he would walk to your house with, the encyclopedias volume A to Z. But your parents weren't buying volumes A to Z all at once. They'll probably get A to C, and then when you pay those off, then he'll come with D to F until you're finally finished. So now in this age of technology, when you're asked certain questions, what I did to my daughter when she would ask certain things, and I would tell her, it's in the palm of your hand. Look it up. It's in the palm of your hand. Why? Because now we have cell phones. And you don't have to do the Encyclopedia Britannica or whatever encyclopedia that they use now. It was not the same. Tanika also said brains were our computers back then, starving for information and growth. No violent video games existed back then. There was a basic Atari and the games, and then later on there was Pac-Man and Pac-Woman and some Galaxy Space games. However, to maintain attraction back then, going outside and playing is where you created adventure. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tanika. I truly enjoyed reading that. I enjoyed so much of those stories. I want to see, listening audience, go ahead and share some of your stories because what I'm doing, I'm taking you guys back to my VI history and some of the history that was shared by our audience. So I have other stories to share. One is from my cousin Lisa Carwood, and I smiled and I laughed because there was this place in the gut. I didn't go there because there were so many rocks. I guess after so many hurricanes and storms, where we would take a trail because we walked up and there we hiked, and there was this beautiful green area which I really would have loved to have gone to, but because it didn't look the same and it wasn't safe, and I'm not exactly uh 9 years old to walk through the gut and into the unknown. So I didn't do that. But Lisa reminded me, yes, hiking the gut and catching tadpoles, those were great memories. And Aka, he said, I'm wondering if Garden Street had the most shortcuts because there were so many shortcuts. Well, some person could live on the hill, we could live on down in the valley, we could live down the road, and there was always an alternate route that you can get to their house in tutus. Why is VI history so important to you? Because it takes you back your immediate history, not just the VI history that we're told. My VI history is important to me because it molded me into the person that I am today. I took what it is that I learned in addition to what I wanted for myself now, and I meshed those together to create me. And yes, I'm still work in progress. And what your VI history, it doesn't, as I said before, it does not take away from great persons like J. Antonio Jarvis, and there's so numerous to mention. A matter of fact, yesterday was laid to rest Ari Ari. He was a phenomenal educator and musician, and he's done so much for our community. And he was laid to rest yesterday. And when I think about him and so many other people, I say, thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for what it is that you've done. Thank you for making ways and opening paths so I can sit here today and share some of my childhood memory with you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity so we can have those shortcuts and reflect back and see how things have changed. Because growing up, those things seem so huge, and walking there is just like so small. And I'm like, well, how tall was I? And creating those memories, each person have a history, each person has a past, and it's yours, and no one can take it away from you. So one of the many things that I do here on the Let's Talk About You, the Let's Talk Minutes, I really want us to celebrate self, not to be haughty or cocky or arrogant. It's just so we can appreciate where we are, where we've come from, how far we've come, because every step makes a difference. Our past is the avenue to push us. You know, I like to say, because when I was 12 years old in the newspaper, I read this quote and I still have it today. Today, I will build a bridge from faith and love that will take me from where I am to where I want to be. And my past is that bridge that will take me from where I was, and I'm still working to where exactly I need to be. But it's a good bridge as I walk on that bridge, still walking it, still creating things, still working on my memories. It was so good. And another reason why it was so important for me when I did that tour, I was able to take my dad with me. And he and I sat and we shared stories about when he finished working in the afternoon, because he worked at All Saints School. When he worked in the afternoons, how my siblings would I would meet him at the edge of the road, and we couldn't wait to tell him whatever it is that we had to tell him. And he was just telling me how things has changed. And being 96 years young, I was just so grateful, because his history, no, he's not from St. Thomas, but his history that he has built here is just so phenomenal, because he chose that spot, or well, my parents chose that spot for us to live. And it was just such a for us to build that foundation. Even my nieces and nephews, they remember those great memories when they were dropped off for us to babysit, and they would stay there until their parents came. And that nostalgia, like Tanika said, the memories can keep us, hold us as in bondage, or it can help us build that foundation. And I'm using these memories as a foundation for myself, and I would like you to use your memories as your foundation for you, to help with making our community a better community. Because yes, it's good to learn from our elders, and it's so great to learn from our youths, because they're full of that energy and that newness and that desire for more. Because we all were at that age that we desired more, and we yearned for more, but we didn't always take the time to listen to our elders. So I guess now I'm in that season moment that I want both avenues. I want that information from the past, and I want to know what the youth are thinking, because I still considered myself young at heart, as my father does. So I got it honestly. So we can grow together, we can build together, we can make this community the community that we desire. Nothing is perfect, but it's home. And we just need to make it the best home that we possibly can. And making it the best home doesn't mean that you necessarily have to change someone. We just have to be open to accepting people where they act, and either work around it or work through it, or it's come to some compromise. So in our growing, we can do that together. Let's go back to some more stories. So my one young lady, I mean Sharice Lynn, she said, I lived at the first house on top of Bunker Hill, but sitting on the big rock onto the entrance going to Blackbeard's castle, which was our meeting place. Watching the Calypso tent in the stadium from afar, where we were too young to attend. Also walking barefoot to the 99 steps to pick Mango and Kenneth. I remember walking around up and down Garden Street barefoot, and it wasn't a thing. I would walk from our house all the way down the road to, wherever. But we didn't leave home. Well, I didn't leave home often. But when we did, especially to visit my godfather, because he lived further down the hill from us. And every Sunday, either after church or just on a Saturday, we would go and get our sauce and potato salad for my godfather. So I'm still waiting to see those great stories that you guys want to share. And one thing I will say, most of these stories were shared by women. Don't forget, you need to celebrate your mothers, your sisters, because this is also Women's History Month. Every day is an opportunity to celebrate self. Last month, they said, well, we celebrated Black History Month, but I believe Black history is 366 this year because it's a leap year. I also want to share a little note from my girlfriend Joy. She said one of her fondest memories was sitting under the grape tree at Limburg Bay and seeing the waves crashing against the shore. She enjoyed eating sea grapes. She would listen to the airplanes landed and take off, looking off to the distance, and would dream, what would she be when she grows up? Now, my girlfriend, she is so talented. She's an artist, she's a teacher, she's a mentor. She is just so many things. So, those days of her as a child sitting and wondering where she would be and what would she do, she's also an author. She has 3 published books. So, you never know where you're going to be. Never despise humble beginnings. Come on in, and welcome to season 5. We're here, season 5, and let's talk about you. And also, let me show you a little bit. Oh, First Lady Peterson, thank you so much for joining us today. She said, I grew up in hospital ground as a child. We used to make carts and go racing. We used those cardboard boxes and would race down the hill. What she said, the slope. We rode bikes, played and seeked. We played hide and seek, hopscotch. We played marbles and just so many more with the neighbors. We would play. We would play in the rain and run behind the smoke truck. I remember doing that too. There was no cell phones, and not anyone had a phone in the house. So you just had to be outside with your friends and enjoyed great times. There was no sleepovers in those times either. You're right. There were hardly any sleepovers. I did attend a time, but we did have a lot of time playing outside. The smoke truck. Oh, the smoke truck. Who knew that we were inhaling all those toxic fumes? We couldn't wait for the smoke truck. We would call our friends, the smoke truck, running behind the smoke truck, inhaling all the fumes. But it was just so much fun because it was just not one or two person. It was all the kids in the community. All the kids in the area would come together and enjoy the smoke truck. They would enjoy playing together. And I remember also my brothers, they would make the carts out of the old bikes, and they too would race down the slopes. Some carts didn't really make it too far to the end of the race. But the creativity, because at the end of the day, you had to use your hands, and we didn't have the basic tools a lot of times of the wrenches and the screwdrivers and the hammer. It was a stone, it was a whatever it was that you had to use to get your go-kart going. So thank you so much, First Lady, for sharing. I so appreciated that, and I remember that. What is your history? Why is this important to you? I told you why it's important to me, and it will continue to be important to me as I grow, as I share, as I listen to the stories that my dad is always telling me. I will forever be grateful. I will always be humble. I will just enjoy all those sweet memories, all those great stories that he is sharing. I'm looking to see if I have one more to share before I go to the next thing. So, any more things to come in? Alrighty. So this season, I should say, why did I decide to have a sponsor? Well, 2 reasons. Because it's about community. I enjoy doing my show. I enjoy doing having my business, Kiki Creations. So I decided that's a way to get the word out there And why not partner with others? And if you're interested in having your business advertised here, just let me know. Put a comment down below, send us a message, and we will take care of you. We will handle all the details, and we have so much more in store. So, for this month, speaking about VI History Month, we're also talking about staple places. Garden Street and the Gut was mine for this first season. Now, next week, I'm going to talk about one of the many parks that I enjoyed visiting as a child, Coral World. Now, I remember going to Coral World for the first time when I was in first grade. That was many moons ago. So I don't want to give too much for next week's, well, the show, which will be on March 17th. But I do want you to stay tuned and I want you to keep the momentum going. Continue to share your stories, your memories, and tell a friend to tell a friend. She wants to hear about us because trust me, sharing those stories, it makes the heart glad. It makes you laugh. It maybe even make you mad, but the emotions, feeling those emotions is a good thing. So before we cut out, I'm going to show us our a little clips from our sponsors. Crystal.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Infinitely Me, a jewelry line by Kirsten. Infinitely Me is more than adornment, it's an expression of your unique style. Kirsten, the creative force behind Infinitely Me, meticulously crafts each piece using quality metals, stones, crystals, and various artistic mediums. Whether it's a custom creation for your special event, a statement piece to elevate your wardrobe, or simply fulfilling your desires with timeless elegance, Infinitely Me has you covered. Experience the essence of bespoke craftsmanship. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Infinitely Me Jewelry for a sneak peek into our dazzling collection. For personalized inquiries, call us at +1 340 998 6981 or drop us an email at kirsten@infinitellamy.com. Infinitely Me, where passion meets craftsmanship. Visit our website at infinitellamy.com.
And here's some clips from Kiki Creations. So for your event needs, just come on out, give me a call, visit our website at Kiki Creations, and let me know what event, if you have a wedding, bachelor party, a christening, gender reveal, baby shower, intimate picnics, we got you. Just let us know what it is that you need. Just message us. They're on Facebook. We also have a Facebook page. We're on Instagram, or just DM me. Everyone knows me. So coming up on our next show next week, no, well, not, I keep saying next week, our next show, which will be March 17th, we're going to be talking to Jessica White of the St. Clair Institute. So the St. Clair Institute is an institute for bringing forth mental health awareness. And mental health is an issue and a stigma, not just here in the Virgin Islands, but throughout. And this institute is doing great things and they're bringing about awareness. They're having a phenomenal gala that's coming up on April 6th, 2023. And it's going to be at one of my favorite spots at Coral World, and Kiki Creations will be the decor persons for that event. So stay tuned and come back on March 17th so we can hear what's going on for this event. Miss White will tell us in details exactly about the institution, how you can be a part of it if you want to donate. Tickets are still available. I know they're having a live auction. So any businesses out there that would like to auction some of their items, please give Miss White a call of the St. Clair Institute. I know this show today is going to be short and sweet and short, only because I just want to say welcome. We're back. Celebrate your intimate history. You remember, everyone creates history, everyone has a past. So don't despise your small beginnings because it may be impactful to someone else. Someone is always paying attention, someone is always watching. Your life means so much and you have so much to offer. So God bless. Continue to celebrate you. Continue to celebrate our VI history. Celebrate those great men and women, those iconic men and women that paved the way for us so we can have moments, so I can have a moment such like this. And let's talk about you. So we can talk about running behind the fire truck. So we can talk about playing outside and walking in the gut and having so many beautiful shortcuts and so many memories that then it seems so big, and now it may be small, but it has such a huge impact in our hearts and in our lives. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being a part of Let's Talk About You. And I'll see you on March 17th, right here at 5 p.m. Stay blessed on purpose.